scenic route to set up a dream tie with Arsenal. Then road to this season's Champions League final in Eindhoven started with a 3-1 win over Swedish side Christiansen's before they knocked out four-time European champions Frankfurt in the most dramatic of circumstances. Tonight they have their sights set on another giant killing. It's all set up for a thriller at Meadow Park. Two incredibly experienced players on the world stage, Kim Little and Sherida Spitzer, leading their respective sides out tonight. It's a big day there for Lena Hurtig, centre of your screen, making her very first Arsenal start since her summer move from Juventus. Of course, this competition isn't a change of scenery for her. We'll just look at the Arsenal team now. Jonas Ardevel's made 3 changes from Friday's 4-0 win over Brighton. Noel Maritz and Steph Catley come in at full-back, while there's a full Arsenal debut, as mentioned, for Lena Hurtig on the wing. Raffaelli makes her first Champions League appearance in defence. And for Ajax, well, it's 2 changes from their opening day rout against Fortuna Sittard. Lisa van der Most comes in at right-back, while Nadine Nordam pairs the experienced Sherida Spitzer in midfield. Reme Lukter scored 25 in 24 last season. Wearing the number 7 shirt tonight, she is the one to watch. Plenty of experience on display, and as expected with Ajax, always a lot of talented youth product coming through.
Absolutely, and again, that's something I'm really looking forward to watching and see as the 90 minutes unfold as well, how this experienced Arsenal team combat themselves against a visiting side full of young, talented, hungry players who will come to this game with an edge of fearlessness as well. So Arsenal have to be prepared for that. I'm sure they will be, and looking to build upon the clean sheet that they gained in the opening game of the season at Brighton as well.
Despite keeping that clean sheet, it's 2 changes to what looked to be a settled back line. Laura Weinerotter being replaced at right back by Noella Maritz, who is the sole Champions League winner in this Arsenal side. Well, Viviana Miedema gets us off and underway at Meadow Park. The road to Eindhoven begins for the Gunners tonight. Here's Raffaelli. Now Zinsberger. Did wonder whether we may have seen a debut for summer signing Kayla Marchese in goal. It looks as though Jonas Ardevel is desperate to put his strongest side out, just to make sure that that trip back to Amsterdam isn't going to be too tricky for his side.
Yeah, it's a really important point as well, trying to build that consistency and that solid foundation from the back with a goalkeeper who will be in good form and in confident form as well.
Blackstenius getting the ball across. It's cut out by Spitzer. Just able to drag this one across the field to Lisa van der Most. This is what we can expect to see from Ajax. All 4 of their goals on the weekend came down the right-hand side. Plenty of threat down that channel. All of the goals being turned in from crosses as well. But this is better from Arsenal. Foot back on the ball. It's Noella Maritz who's invited to drive forward. Nice interplay from Blackstenius as well. Of course, opening her account on the opening day. Beth Mead with 2 of herself. Up against Brighton. Arsenal just settling themselves into this game. We know that Ajax can be dangerous on the counter-attack. Steph Catley going in for challenges and just about losing out on that far side. Interesting to see her brought into the side, Steph Catley. Very solid defensively, but as an alternative to Katie McCabe. Very similar players, very accomplished with their deliveries as well, that left foot.
Yeah, I mean, she was rewarded, wasn't she, with a new contract in the summer, a player that the manager rates, and in 1v1 battles, so consistently good. So it does have a really defensive, strong edge to this team that she can contribute as well on a night where, as you've mentioned, down that side of the pitch, is where Ajax really has a threat.
That's the first glimpse of a jet-heeled Lena Hurtig. Certainly no slouch on that left wing. Just had her cross cut out at the near post. It's always interesting, especially at this early stage of the season, to see the new players coming in and form those on-pitch relationships with their teammates and try to suss out exactly where the movement's going to be before obviously they build that telepathic understanding. The early signs there were good between Catley and Hurtig. That's a nice bit of play by Raffaelli.
I think already we're seeing how confident and composed Arsenal look in possession. Ajax, with the few touches they've had on the ball, have looked to play it direct and fast and quick, but Arsenal just bringing the ball through the channels, and like you say, that instinctive, almost telepathic understanding that they have in the final third. It looks like it's infiltrating its way from defence through to midfield as well, so early encouraging signs for Arsenal.
They do obviously have the option to go a bit longer, a bit more direct, with a passer like Leah Williamson at the back. That's exactly what Ajax do from their goalkeeper Lisa Kopp. Given away though, only temporarily. Lover and then Nordam, eventually working it over to that right hand side. Van der Most, nice turn under pressure from Nordam. Now Pelova. First glimpse on this left-hand side of the summer arrival Weirden. Joining from Montpellier. She might look to profit here, under a bit of pressure on the edge of the area, but still managing to get the shot away. Zinsberger couldn't hold it. Thankfully, enough defenders were in the way to sweep that one out for a throw-in. Early warning signs, though, for the Gunners.
Yeah, certainly so. You can see there's just a little bit of hesitancy on the edge of the 18-yard box, and you can't afford to do that at any level, let alone in a Champions League tie either. And Ajax just showing that they're ready to pounce, and as soon as they get a glance on target, look up and get the shot away.
Victoria Pelova it was with the effort. One of the more impressive players among the Ajax ranks from last season. 6 goals, 9 assists from midfield, and here she is again now, looking to make things tick for the Eredivisie side. Cardinal into Spitzer. Wearing the captain's armband for Ajax, as she did for Netherlands when they lifted the Women's Euros back in 2017. Vivianne Miedema, of course, a big part of that squad, along with former Arsenal players, Sari van Veenendaal, Danielle van der Donk, Dominic Janssen as well in there. Catley. Be interesting to watch Blackstenius as well play on the last defender. She did that role so well up against Brighton at the weekend. Just as Raffaelli's done there. Judging the pass brilliantly, getting her body in the way. That might have been a foul on Beth Mead. Referee today, Frida Nielsen, who's from Denmark, is happy to wave that one on. And there's Pelova going for the cross, blocked out by Catley. Spitzer, really lively start in the opening 6 or so minutes here at Meadow Park.
I'm already really liking the look of Pelova. I wonder how many Women's Super League managers might be keeping an eye on her this evening. I think her contract comes to an end at the club, and you do wonder whether the allure of the FA Women's Super League could be something that she considers at the end of the season. But you can already see the direct nature in which she plays and the creativity as well. It'd be a really interesting matchup.
Well, the 22-year-old isn't just talented on the football pitch, she's a very intelligent person as well. Outside of football, she's studied applied mathematics. She also played at the Dutch Youth Chess Camp as well, so expect to see her looking to make the most of the spaces that are popping up on the pitch. I do wonder whether the checkerboard design on the pitch might favour her. Anyway, we'll move on from that. Here come Ajax now, attacking with Romy Lutzer. Van der Most with the throw-in. Another good turn by Pelova. Little going in for the challenge. Miedema escapes with the ball. Liavelti trying to twist and turn away from Sharida Spitzer. Look at the pressing from Ajax. It's really good work rate off the ball from the visitors. And they've won themselves a throw-in as well with their dedication.
Yeah, an incredibly impressive display so far from Ajax in that press out of possession as well. They're looking really, really strong and just needing the Arsenal midfield to show that physicality. Kim Little with an important challenge there, but Liavelti just getting turned too easily, and it's proving to be a very effective means for the visitors to infiltrate and put some pressure early on the Arsenal defence.
Cut out by Little now. Will this be their chance to break forward? Blackstenius has stayed wide to the right. Miedema's up ahead on the left. Beth Mead runs into trouble. And it's helped clear. You can immediately see Ajax's first thought is, as soon as the turnover's made, let's get ourselves back onto the front foot. They want to attack Arsenal when they are at their most unsettled. Clear game plan by their head coach, Suzanne Bakker, newly in charge for this season, replacing former coach Danny Schenkel after he won the Dutch Cup last time out. Be a free kick to Arsenal. Steph Catley this time, brought down by Chastity Grant. So 10 minutes into the game, Charlotte. What can we draw from this so far?
I think we can draw what we probably suspected before a ball was even kicked, that it's going to be a very even affair between these two teams. Arsenal started the game very, very brightly, and Ajax have just kind of crept into it, dictated the tempo more perhaps in the last couple of minutes, but certainly not only do I think we're going to enjoy a really good tactical display this evening, it's going to be physical as well. There are some crunching tackles going on already, and that physical battle in midfield I think is going to grow ever more important as the game wears on as well.
Yeah, first it was Steph Catley putting a boot in, and then Sarita Spitzer came across with a huge challenge. Winning the ball fairly though on both occasions. Hertig trying to force Nadine Nordam back towards her own goal. Raffaelli. Williamson invited to step out from defence, and that was a nice looking ball. Threaded through into the gap with her weaker left foot. Just a bit too far ahead of Miedema. Good to see Arsenal switching up the attacks though. Here's Maritz on this right hand side. Loose by Blackstenius, but recovered by Velti. Opportunity perhaps for Maritz to deliver. It's a routine claim in the end for Lisa Kopp.
Yeah, keeper's done well there, going about her business, making it look routine, making it look easy, but stamping that authority when you're the visiting goalkeeper as well is incredibly important, and knowing that you have a keeper that can come off her line, claim the ball and get the game back underway quickly is also going to be really important, because for Ajax it's about setting their own tempo, and as we've seen they do like a direct long ball as well as playing through the thirds, which as we see now, that long ball forward. But I think that's going to work to Arsenal's advantage when you have, you know, a centre-back pairing and players like Leah Williamson, who just, she looks so composed. I don't think there's a footballer who looks more composed than Leah Williamson. So relaxed, and it's brilliant to see, and hopefully, you know, she'll carry on what was a fantastic summer for Arsenal as well.
There was a lot of confusion, wasn't there, when Serena Weigmann announced the first lineup at the Euros. Leah Williamson wasn't being played in holding midfield. Well, I'm sure Arsenal fans would have told you the way that she played at centre-back last season, by far and away, probably the best one in the WSL.
Yeah, I remember, Max, watching Leah Williamson many, many years ago when she was playing for the under-17s for England, and I said to a colleague at the time, I'm watching a future England captain here, because just her all-round capacity and ability to read the game. You know, you watch her with the ball, without the ball. She's constantly searching, constantly looking over her shoulder, and just such an intelligent footballer. And you could kind of see then, I didn't know she'd be the captain to lead us to some silverware, but certainly knew that she was going to go on to be a fantastic, well-rounded footballer. And that leadership that she brings, without even wearing the captain's armband for Arsenal, is such a benefit to them.
Not many teams can say that both of their starting centre-backs captained their countries to international glory in a single summer. That's exactly what the two Arsenal defenders were up to when they were away from their clubs. Raffaele, of course, winning the Copa America with Brazil. Didn't concede a single goal en route to lifting that trophy. Anyway, here's Blackstenius trying to get the cross in. The ball had gone out and behind for a goal kick. Oh, I think tonight's referee, Frida Nilsson, been happy to just wave that one on. Better hold-up play by Blackstenius, but yeah, just running a bit too far away from her. One back by Niavelti. Crucial toe to take that one away from Nordam. There she is again, the Swiss international, helping things on to her compatriot on this near side. Now Mead. Maritz continued her run. Mead's picked her out brilliantly. Towards the far post, Hurtig will arrive. Van der Most happy to help that one on. Does get the benefit of the doubt. That's gone behind for a goal kick, but more promising play on this right-hand side by Arsenal. I
was just about to say, Max, that right-hand side looks really, really fruitful for Arsenal, and perhaps something they can exploit even more. Just getting the quality of those deliveries into the box, just asking a few more questions, perhaps aerially as well. Arsenal have such an aerial threat with their front line, the height and the physical ability they have. Just making sure those deliveries perhaps go up a notch as well. But you certainly look at the opening 15 minutes, and that right-hand side does look like perhaps the avenue where Arsenal could get a little bit of joy and perhaps break the deadlock.
They are coming up against very inexperienced Ajax back line. The two centre-backs, one of them's 20, the other is 17, Issa Cardinal. Both academy products, both very highly rated at the club. As Spitzer tries her luck. Right at Zinsberger in the end. You alluded to it earlier, Charlotte. As soon as they see the goal, their eyes light up.
And that's exactly what you would expect from a visiting team, given the context of this game as well. The first tie of a two-legged affair for the visitors, it's all about trying to stamp some authority, trying to quieten down the fans at Meadow Park, and whenever they do get a glimpse on goal, if they're even granted a little bit of space, they're trying to get that shot away, rack up those shots on target, and it's down to Arsenal to smother that. And I would say they've had a few half chances, the visitors, and the ones that they have come from perhaps Arsenal mistakes, a bit loose in possession, particularly in that middle of the park. So something for Arsenal perhaps to tidy up on.
Viviana Miedemar just trying to get herself involved in the game, turning before seeing her cross well cleared. Maritz will take the throw in. We'll get on the receiving end of that ball from Beth Mead as well. A real opportunity now for Arsenal to try to flood Ajax's box. It's given away by Liavelti. Uncharacteristically, usually so assured in possession. Just caught in two minds there.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Arsenal, looking a little bit uncoordinated in the press and the boxing in of that throw-in as well, and now they're kind of open up to a counter-attack.
Yeah, they are. There's an option here, an overload on the right-hand side. Van der Most continued her run forward. Leukter picked her out, and now it's back with Nordam. There's an overlapping run from Grant as well into the area. And Ajax take the lead. Well, we knew exactly how dangerous they were coming across from that right-hand side. All four goals in their previous fixture came from a cross similar to that one. And they've undone Arsenal here. Some would say it's against the run of play, but they have the better of the chances in this game. It's Arsenal 0, Ajax 1.
And it all started, Max, from that throw-in down the other end. From an Arsenal point of view, many opportunities to prevent that goal from happening. I know could see the Leah Williamson holding her arm up, expecting an offside call, but I don't think it was offside. The back line was caught a little bit out of shape, all at odds, and they've been ruthlessly punished. A lovely little neat ball there. The run was fantastic. The cross arguably should have been dealt with, but good movement from Ajax's number 7, and it is an advantage that they've worked hard for and capitalised Arsenal in the perhaps a slight lackadaisical defending.
Yeah, Romeo Leutzer, a player who we did identify as the clear threat in that forward line, gets on the score sheet. Really, really impressive start for Ajax. Clinical they were when they came forward. Leutzer, a player who scored so many goals last season, and that's her first in the competition. What have Arsenal got in response? Raffaelli. Miedemar and Hurtig both made the forward runs. Here is Hurtig now. Little. Mead closed down so quickly by Soraya Bahova on this near side. Bit of space now though. Again, when it's come to it, that final delivery from Arsenal, the final one just to try to pick the lock, hasn't been coming off in this opening 20 minutes. They might have an opportunity here though. Blackstenius. Spitzer goes a bit more direct this time. She's got Grant chasing up against Leah Williamson. Raffaelli does really well to firstly hold off Leutzer before showcasing her close control as well.
With Arsenal, you just can't help but feel it's perhaps that little bit of accuracy threading through the passes, and the movement and the ideas are right. It's not quite clicking so flawlessly as perhaps it did against Brighton, but it is just that accuracy of the passing and also the decision making as well, because Ajax have set up so well. They've got a real block behind the ball when they're out of possession, and sometimes it's that decision making, electing for that pass as a sea of bodies, where, as we're seeing, when they're opening up play and switching between the right and the left, it seems to be more effective against this Ajax team.
You can already see, as Charlotte mentions, the 2 banks of 4 right in front of the Ajax penalty area, making things difficult for the Gunners, but they will get a free kick now, Arsenal. Now, is this in Steph Catley territory? We saw her last season score a stunning free kick against HB Cogger. Can she do the same again here? I'm sure she won't be the only player putting her name forward for this one. Beth Mead's gone over as well. A clear foul though from Ajax. No real complaints for the challenge on Lena Hurtig. This could be a crucial moment in this Champions League tie.
I think it's a great opportunity in open play. It hasn't quite clicked for Arsenal so far this evening. This is a fantastic set-piece opportunity, and we know the technical ability both the players standing over the ball have.
So the left foot of Steph Catley, or Beth Mead. Well, there's a chance on the follow-up, and how's that not got in? Leah Williamson was one of the players up there. I don't think it was her that got the final touch though. Just taking a look, it was Beth Mead with lots of venom behind the strike.
Yeah, that was an absolutely fantastic strike. And just to get the goalkeeper working, she spilled it. We did discuss whether there would be a little bit of nervousness perhaps, and just backpedaling there, the weighted position that she was in, just missing the target. But that is a good moment for Arsenal, and it's something to build upon. And perhaps they too now will be looking to try and get a few shots away and test Zop in the Ajax goal.
Yeah, Stina Blackstenius, probably as close as you can come to levelling the scores without actually hitting the target from close range. She was off balance, the Swede, when she went in to follow it up. There's Raffaelli, one over the top. Here's Blackstenius. This is the thing. Even after she misses a chance, she still makes the moves. She wins her side a corner.
She's so tenacious, isn't she? Those runs off the ball, her movement constantly is such a threat that whoever's got the task of marking her for an evening has a tough evening. And that's exactly what Arsenal need to be doing. They need to let Ajax know that they are in for a tough afternoon, a tough evening, I should say, and a tough tie. And it's another set-piece opportunity, which Arsenal do look very dangerous from.
Well, again, it will be drilled in by Beth Mead towards the far post. Raffaelli's up there, off the crossbar, and a chance on the follow-up. Smashed home this time by Stina Blackstenius. Well, we saw it against Brighton. If she misses one chance, if she hits the frame of the goal, it doesn't matter. She'll keep going and she will get her reward. And she's levelled the scores here. It's Arsenal 1, Ajax 1.
Credit to Arsenal, I think the response since going a goal behind, there has been far much more purpose to their attacking display, more intent, and the way they've been moving the ball around, and those set-piece deliveries have been of great quality. The ball in and the header initially was fantastic, but being alert and sharp to the seconds is what a centre-forward like that is there for. Taking the gamble, sensing the danger, and ultimately putting the ball into the back of the net.
Almost every single set-piece delivery in that opening day win over Brighton was aiming for Raffaelli. She wasn't too far away from marking her Champions League debut with her first Champions League goal. Here's Miedema giving Cardinal something to think about. The teenagers done well just to shepherd that one out of play. Arsenal, though, with all the momentum following Stenius's second goal in as many games this season. Given away by Miedema. Now here's Ashley Reardon. Well, one back by Beth Mead, who tracked her runner a long way. Now Kim Little can bring it forward. Cardinal gives it away to her opposing centre-back. Now a bit of space may open up on the left-hand side. Niavelti continued her run forward, trying again to wriggle away from the Ajax press. Seem to get so many bodies in around and really quickly as well, don't they?
Yeah, this game is being played at quite a tempo, but also just the level of the physicality. The referee is letting a lot of kind of little nibbles go, and that's fantastic because it makes it even more of a spectacle and a battle to watch unfold.
Well, I was wondering where that block may end up there. From our vantage point, it looks as though for a second it might have been headed on target, but it has gone out and behind safely from an Ajax point of view for a goal kick. But like you said, there is hardly a second for any of these players to catch their breath. Being played end to end, you've got both teams playing very high pressing style.
It really adds that pressure as well for individual errors. You know, there's someone ready to capitalise, and both sets of players have made individual errors that have been capitalised on. Even the likes of Miedema in her goddess-like status. Anytime she's on the ball, she is a magnet for about 3 or 4 Ajax players, and that's putting the pressure on her passing, which led to Ajax's last attacking move. It's if we want to go back to that chessboard analogy, you really can't put a piece out of place, because with the quality of these players, you're going to be punished.
You've done me a solid there, actually. My very laboured analogy earlier on. Anyway, here are Ajax coming forward on the right-hand side with Grant. Well, one back by Raffaelli, but the danger's still not cleared. Very nearly tapped in at the far post by Ashley Reardon. Well, Leah Williamson, you can see her just off to the right of your screen there, having a word with her fellow defenders, just trying to calm things down a bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's a brilliant cross. The fizz on it, really, really hard to defend against. And that run at the back post by Reardon, who again is another player that's really caught my eye, the way she fizzes around the pitch, got a lot of pace on her, and you just cannot afford to do that. And I think it was another kind of warning sign.
All given away, and it might be another opportunity for Leuchter. Well, a finisher of her pedigree. I'd be expecting her to make Zinsberger work a bit more, but again, comes from a bit of slack play from Arsenal.
Yeah, I think if Leah Williamson was telling her teammates to calm down 60 seconds ago, she is reaffirming that message. we've mentioned it, the tempo of the press and the way that both teams are set up, it is breathless and it is hard, and you've got to be at full concentration, and the accuracy of passing is something that Arsenal have been lacking in this evening, which is very, very uncharacteristic.
Grant on this occasion looking to profit. Miedemar's back there to atone for her earlier error. And now Marix can look up to find Blackstenius, who I think probably wanted a shout there to hold on to the ball rather than flick it on first time. Back in Ajax's possession now. Cardinal, really impressed with her distribution in the first part of this game. Only signed her first professional contract over the summer. This is very much her breakthrough campaign. It's good to see such a strong turnout on a Tuesday night in Boreham Wood. It was a sellout for the WSL opener on Friday night, and 45,000 fans are expected to be in attendance at Emirates Stadium for the first North London derby of the season. And it will break a WSL attendance record as well.
What a fantastic occasion to look forward to. It's amazing to see the impact of what's been building in the FA Women's Super League for such a long time, and arguably sometimes over the years it's been hard to follow the women's games with the fixture schedules, the timings and so on, and to have a Champions League tie on a Tuesday evening and still get a decent crowd ahead of what is going to be a massive North London derby, it's brilliant. And I think again for Arsenal it is important about the level of professionalism that goes into today's tie, not to be too distracted by that, and I'm sure they're not, but to pick up a good result this evening, and equally a good performance, a nice tidy performance, will be really, really important. I think you'll know about that kind of touch on when there's 45,000 people there. But I think that is, again, perhaps something that Arsenal can look to improve upon, and perhaps what this man will be saying to them at the half-time break. There's been some really promising signs, but also perhaps in certain areas Arsenal can and know they can do slightly better.
Yeah, he's got very high standards, Jonas Eideveld, into his second season, of course, in charge. Wanted his team to improve when facing man-marking systems. Also wanted them to improve mentally and not be too down when they concede against the run of play, or if there is any what they deem to be poor officiating. Well, we saw how well they responded to adversity about 10 minutes ago. Only took them 4 minutes for Blackstenius to net an equaliser after going a goal behind. You will want to see a bit more from his side in terms of completing their usual number of passes, forcing Liza Kopp especially into making a few saves as well. Ajax have played well. Should point that out as well. It hasn't just been Arsenal not entirely clicking.
No, I think you definitely do have to credit the visitors, the way they grew into the game after perhaps a slightly slower start. You know, Arsenal started the game the brighter for sure, and Ajax have grown into the game. They brought the physical edge, but also as well they've identified some weak spots, and they've gone about executing and putting them into place and putting Arsenal under pressure defensively.
More good pressing by Arsenal as Ajax look to play their way out of trouble. I'm sure they'll try again now. Well, here's Kim Little. Need with no option but to go back to Williamson. It's a rare touch for Zinsberger as well. Half an hour gone here. 1 goal apiece. And Raffaelli on the march. Now Catley, a dangerous ball into the middle. Oh, they need to deal with this, and they haven't. Well, they have now. Miedemar was sniffing, as was Blackstenius. Ajax just couldn't seem to get the ball under control inside their own area, and then managed to escape with possession.
This is much, much better from Arsenal. That front three, leading the defending, leading the press. and just to keep applying that pressure on Ajax. You can just see with Arsenal, when it is that kind of instinctive passing play, teams can't get a chance. They're chasing shadows, and that's something we want to see more of from the home team between now and the half-time break.
Certainly saw plenty of it last season. Thinking back to the opening day of last campaign against Chelsea at the Emirates, that 3-2 win. There was lots of fast attacking stuff on display there. And they went on that 9-game winning streak in all competitions. Saw bits and pieces of that form returning against Brighton. Ajax have contained them quite well and have profited quite well from picking up loose balls like that. Spitzer. Now Dawn. Now it's the Dutch side's turn to dictate the tempo. As Cardinal moves into midfield, swapping over with Spitzer on the ball now.
Feels like a slight change of tack from Arsenal, rather than that aggressive initial press, just dropping off a little bit, inviting Ajax to break them down, and it seems to be working quite effectively.
There were a couple of occasions early on, certainly, where Arsenal got sucked in. Liza Kopp was able to play as the extra outfield player, outnumber Arsenal, and then spring a counter-attack forward. Managed to work their way up the field again, though. Van der Most helping it on to Grant. Grant once more, dropping a shoulder, trying to get away from Catley. Nordam. Palova, who's been relatively quiet compared to what she was like when she started the game. Threading the ball through. It was Isa Cardinal, the furthest player forward, the centre-back. It's out of play for Zinsberger's goal kick. Miedema back for Catley. See Arsenal just trying to up things in terms of the one-touch passing, that tempo. Whereas Ajax will happily slow things down. Cardinal goes long. Nobody's home other than Raffaelli. Now Velti. Clear cries from the Arsenal bench, just telling their players to just keep hold of the ball. That's what they are doing with this move. It's much better from the home side. They have been slightly guilty of trying to force a few things in this first half, but they're patiently probing away now. Until Velti gave the ball away. Palova helped on by Spitzer, one back by Williamson, and now Maritz. Beth Mead wins the free kick.
They've done a good job keeping Beth Mead relatively quiet by her very, very high standards this evening so far, and just can't help but feel if they can get her on the ball a little bit more, maybe even pick up a few fouls, pick up a few set pieces and be able to attack that box more prominently. But I think you're right, the patience is a key, and we've just seen in some of the decision making this evening, it's kind of let Arsenal down a bit when they've built up play and they've just in that final third or that final threaded pass not been able to pull it off.
It's Maritz this time looking to get the better from the cross. Good block in the end from Lisa Dawn. When Arsenal do get it right, though, it's very difficult to stop, especially with that one-touch fast passing. Little, freshly up from doing up her laces. I'm sure she really wanted to receive the pass there. Managed to keep hold of possession though. Here's Raffaelli.
They're doing such a good job, Ajax, of preventing crosses coming into the box. You're looking at that penalty area and it looks a little bit isolated. There aren't many red shirts in there, and I think you have to credit the visitors in the way that they are doing their defensive work further up the pitch. And for Arsenal, it is just a case of trying to get the ball in dangerous areas as it's opening up now for Little.
Yeah, might break now for Arsenal's captain. Plenty of space as she gets inside the box. Can she pick a pass? I was wondering then if she sped things up, could she have perhaps carved out an opportunity for herself? She knows she could have done better. But Arsenal do have a corner with a little over 7 minutes left in this first half. This does present a really good opportunity to turn this tie on its head.
I think Arsenal have looked so dangerous from corners, from set-piece routines. This is a great opportunity as we kind of approach the half-time break to just, again, see what pressure can be applied to the visitors' back line.
Steph Catley's trusty left foot to deliver this time. Again, it's towards the far post. Miedemar was lying in wait. For Raffaelli, good turn from her. Van der Most blocks the cross, and then an excellent piece of skill from her.
Lovely footwork by both players there.
Not your usual exchange between two defenders, that's for sure. Here's Leovalti. Hurtig.
I feel like there's a ball on that left-hand side. It's just screaming to be made, but it's just not opening up for Arsenal at the moment. Yet when Ajax attack, it just seems like the space opens up for them.
Well, Palova finds Weirden, this time trying her luck on the right-hand side of the pitch. The ball into the middle, easily claimed by Manny Zinsberger to a very warm round of applause. She's a player who has improved year upon year with Arsenal since joining from Bayern Munich back in 2019. Of course, she won the WSL's Golden Glove Award last season. 13 clean sheets she kept. 25 appearances in all competitions, 18 clean sheets in all competitions. Very, very impressive from Austria's #1, who again had a standout European campaign over the summer as well.
I think sometimes, Max, what goes a little bit unsaid about her as well is the attacking threat that she offers. A really smart goalkeeper whose distribution is equally as impressive as well. And perhaps as this tie goes on, her range and her ability to perhaps support Arsenal in attack will be even more important.
Oh, a bit more direct that time from Arsenal. Beth Mead was looking to get in behind, making that run from the byline into the middle. Cleared under some pressure, but for a second it looked like the Ajax rearguard for the very first time in open play were in trouble. Managed to recover though, the Dutch side. Maritz for Williamson. Just under 5 minutes to play of normal time at the end of this first half. Nothing to separate these two European giants. Raffaelli. Very impressed with how well drilled this Ajax side are.
Yeah, their shape behind the ball has been really, really impressive. And you're seeing the likes of Miedemar, Mead floating all around the pitch, trying to get a few touches.
Well, here's Miedemar inside the area. Slightly off balance, couldn't pull it down into her stride. It was a good first touch to pluck it from the sky when she tried to shift it onto her left. Couldn't generate the necessary power.
She's made a half chance look like a decent chance there, which is like a player of her world-class standards will do for Miedemar. And again, her movement, her kind of stalking off the ball as well. You can see she's well up for this Champions League tie, and perhaps to kind of go back to that goal scoring form in the 2019-20 season. I think for Arsenal as well, when you look at their campaign and what's to come this season, to get some silverware and to do well in this competition will really reinforce, and they're still the only English club to have won the Champions League, and I'm sure their ambitions will be lofty to go and further how they got on last season.
Good defending by Arsenal there. Palova was looking to carve out an opportunity for her teammates. Arsenal had enough back in defence, as did Ajax. And Little tried springing the counter-attack then. Stalking, by the way, is an excellent verb to describe how Vivianne Miedema pursues the defenders in possession of the ball. Here's Dawn. Space opens up for Palova. Switching it to the right-hand side for Weirden. Weirden's pass a bit loose. Thump clear by Steph Catley. Plenty for Jonas Ardevel to ponder at half-time. Wonder at which minute he will look to change things up. It's been a very physical game so far, very demanding of his players. An opportunity might come now for Ajax. Raffaelli's back there, Leutzer too. Good stop by Manu Zinsberger, right behind that effort. Danger still not cleared yet. Flicked on by Leutzer. Thankfully out of play. And here's that chance, Charlotte. Another good bit of goalkeeping from Manu Zinsberger.
Yep, stepping up in the big moments. Saw that all the way, covering her inside post as well. I'll repeat the point, it just has felt for opportune moments to Arsenal, the defence has just switched off, or the second balls are falling kindly to Ajax, but you've got to credit Ajax for that, being in the right place at the right time, anticipating that danger, and it's opened up those opportunities which normally Arsenal don't give too many opposition.
Here's Williamson trying to make things happen at the other end of the pitch. A loose pass. Before she is brought down. Leah Velti was going to get us back underway quickly. Coincidentally is making her 100th appearance in an Arsenal shirt. Leah Velti, that is, not Williamson. Known by many fans and all the players as well as Snake Hips for her ability to duck and dive out of challenges. Well, that's the end of what has been a frantic half of football at Meadow Park. End to end doesn't begin to describe it. Chances at both ends and a goal at both ends as well. First, it was Ajax who did break the deadlock, and it was their key danger player, Leutzer, inside the open. Leave is going to come onto the pitch now. So there were two players missing from that huddle. Both now back out there. One of them, Kim Little, actually. And the other, Vivianne Miedema, perhaps staying behind slightly longer to receive a final instruction. Although, judging by the look on Miedema's face, maybe they just mistimed it. Anyway, Ajax get us back underway and go immediately direct towards Grant. It'll be interesting to see what Ajax's outlook is on this second half. Are they content with securing a draw away from home and then looking to win the tie back at home in Amsterdam in 8 days' time?
I think the game plan that was put in place was just implemented superbly. When you're the travelling side in a Champions League tie, it's all about putting on a comprehensive and stubborn display, and they've done that. But not only that, when they have gone forward, whether it has been the intricate passing play around the 18-yard box or the direct ball forward, it's just seemed to shred the Arsenal defence, which we're so not used to seeing, especially after the opening day victory in the FA Women's Super League. That win against Brighton, that clean sheet, a really solid foundation to build upon. So I think for Arsenal there are just far more gears to go, but I am keen to credit Ajax for the way they've gone about their business. I think they've looked really, really hungry, well drilled, and a team that is being given clear instructions by their manager and gone about delivering it.
Well, here's Steph Catley, released by Leah Williamson. Oh, off the frame of the goal from the Australian. Well, she had time, didn't she, to pick her spot. Instead of going across the goalkeeper, she went for the near post. Very nearly got the better of her.
Brilliant to see an opening down that left-hand side of the pitch as well. Had time to pick out where she wanted to put the ball and a decent bit of goalkeeping. But again, brilliant early signs from Arsenal to see them looking threatening in this part of the pitch, which in the first half was lacking somewhat.
Raffaelli back to Manu Zinsberger. Williamson, who was the architect of that last opportunity, this time picking out Hurtig, helping it on for Steph Catley. Opportunity to cross for Arsenal. Well claimed by Eliza Kopp.
Already much more direct, much more purposeful, and a real range to the attacking threat as well, which is good to see.
There's an overlapping run here from Ashley Weirden. She's very fast. The winger, headed clear by Raffaelli. Just as the first half finished, the second half has started very much end-to-end again.
I think the tempo of the press has just been really impressive from Ajax. They haven't looked tired at all, and you keep thinking maybe, or how long can they sustain that for? Does it get to about the hour mark and you see some tired legs as the space is really beginning to open up for Arsenal now?
Well, Miedema is on the left-hand side of the pitch. There were numbers over on the right. You can't really blame them for looking for their leading goal scorer. Here's Miedema ducking in field onto her right foot. You can see what she was trying to do, looking towards the far top corner. Couldn't quite generate the spin on the ball.
Sometimes that ball just magically stays at her feet. The way she can physically shrug off the opponent and still technically get that shot away. It's why she's the player that she is, and held in such high esteem by Arsenal, their supporters, and all of those in the domestic game and abroad as well. And I can't help but feel that she is the key to unlocking success for Arsenal in this second half.
Nice to hear a new song at Meadow Park as well. If we'll tear you apart again. But here's Blackstenius trying her luck from range. Wasn't a bad effort either. Eliza Kopp had to watch it all the way.
It's just about making this Ajax defence think, to do something to perhaps panic or unsettle. I think in the first half Ajax had it too much their own way. So I'm sure the manager at half-time has said, switch it up, play with confidence, play with a bit of a swagger, and make this team wonder what your next move is.
Well, Herta gets in on the blind side there of Van der Most. She required an excellent recovery challenge from Cardinal. Put the ball out of play. They were under serious pressure there. Van der Most just got her angles wrong. Hurtig for a second was through on goal.
Yeah, really, really nice move there. The defender a bit flat-footed, body twisted, and Arsenal were there to pounce.
Mead again delivers towards Raffaelli at the far post. She jumps so well, the Brazilian. Every single time a ball is delivered into the box, you're backing her to win the header. It does just seem as though Jonas Ardeval at the break has said, look, next 15 minutes, let's put them under as much pressure as we can and see if they can handle it. It has been all Arsenal this second half.
They're a young side, and I think Arsenal just needed to put them under pressure more effectively in the opening half. When you're the home team, it is down to you to set that tempo and to direct that flow of the game. And after literally maybe like a couple of minutes in the opening spell, Ajax were able to creep their way back into the game, thread possession together and open the deadlock, which gave them a real sense of confidence and something to cling on to.
Well, here's Maritz on the overlap. Dangerous delivery into the box. No Arsenal player had gambled. Might be a break on here for Ajax. Helped across to the left-hand side of the pitch. Well won back by Maritz. So it was Beth Mead charging all the way back there. Surprised us that she was so diligent in her defending. That's not really out of character for her. That's why her teammates love her so much. And there's an excellent switch of play to find her once more. Now Maritz into Velti. Little comes short for the option on the edge of the area. Good to see Arsenal trying to be creative in different ways.
Yeah, that's a really good point. When I see Beth Mead in those situations, 1v1 with a defender, I just want her to go for it, charge into that box, be positive, because you never know, if you're putting that defender under pressure, you could win a penalty, you could win a free kick. She elected to pass it back on that occasion. It hasn't quite come off, but perhaps we'll see her switch up that style as this half goes on.
Stenius looking to cut one back. Hertig and Miedemar were options in the area. Again, well read by Issa Cardinal.
I definitely think the home crowd, you can hear them, really seeing that the girls have come out in this second half with a bit more focus and a bit more of a dogged determination to imprint themselves upon this Champions League tie, and that will spur the team on. And we spoke in the first half, didn't we, about that midfield battle, and that was something that I think Ajax wanted, whereas now, the way that Arsenal are playing, the rapid flow of their attacking style, it's almost surpassing the midfield.
It was Leah Williamson's excellent long ball, which picked out Hertig. We found Catley, returned the pass, and now we have another corner for Arsenal to be taken from this left-hand side. Beth Mead's come all the way across the pitch. Two arms up from the Golden Boot winner at the Summers Euros. And in it comes once more. Again towards the far post. Raffaelli this time beaten in the air. But she will keep it in on the far side. Again, more good footwork from the Brazilian, who can keep going. Raffaelli off the post again. Catley trying to pick her spot with the follow-up. Well, it's twice in this second half now that Arsenal have rattled the frame of the goal. So close to taking the lead in this tie. Still on the front foot though, and it's Blackstenius through on goal. Another good stop from Lisa Kopp. Well, Blackstenius has gone down. Frida Nilsson says no penalty. Boos chime around Meadow Park. They felt that they were hard done by there, the Arsenal fans.
This is more like it. Arsenal are knocking. That bit of skill from Rafael deserved a goal in itself, but if Arsenal can keep this up, if they can sustain this pressure, it might well be an individual mistake. It might be a lack of communication between the centre-backs and the goalkeeper. I feel that if Arsenal get a goal in the next few minutes, we might see, not the floodgates open, that's probably too dramatic, but we might then see them notch a couple. I feel like the half-time team talk has worked its magic.
It's another great ball from Raffaelli. Beth Mead went down inside the area, and after taking a look at it, and it was a long look from the referee, Frida Nilsson, she eventually points to the spot. The more immediate concern from Arsenal will be on Beth Mead's health. She clutches the back of her head. It was an almighty hit that she took. Arsenal will have the opportunity to take the lead in this tie from the penalty spot. Kim Little will be designated taker. We do hope that this isn't a serious concern for Beth Mead.
Well, I did let out a little gasp, Max. I was surprised more Arsenal players didn't appeal more vehemently, because it did look like a real kind of coming together, and it has been a physical game. Under the radar, there's been plenty of little individual battles, plenty of nibbles here and there, but it did look like a poor loss of control, and the referee has taken her time, and it's a big decision to make at a pivotal stage of this game, and that momentum could just swing the way of Arsenal now.
Well, Beth Mead back on her feet, which is good news. Although you wonder whether that will be her final involvement. Caitlin Ford ready and set to come on. But before then, a penalty to Arsenal. Kim Little, 2 penalties from 2 last season. She is so reliable in these situations. One of the club's greatest ever players. 13 trophies to her name. She thrives under pressure. Can she deliver for the Gunners once more? Sends Lisa Kopp the wrong way. Arsenal take the lead. They've deserved it for the way that they've started this second half. Kim Little with the captain's armband on, leading by example. A penalty won by Beth Mead, but dispatched confidently by Kim Little.
Spot on, both the penalty and the way that Arsenal have gone about their business in the second half. We did say whether it would be a set-piece opportunity or perhaps a mistake from Ajax to make Arsenal retake the lead, and it's turned out to be a penalty. But Arsenal have deserved that decision. They've deserved that little bit of fortune. They've deserved that penalty opportunity, and in those situations, who else do you want to be taking it other than your skipper, Kim Little, stepping up at a big point? And that momentum has swung Arsenal's way now. They're making a change, some fresh legs coming onto the pitch, and if they can sustain this attacking pressure, I think that they could really get a grip of this Champions League tie.
Well, 60 minutes tonight for Lena Hurtig to follow the 30 minutes that she had against Brighton, being gradually eased into Jonas Ardevel's system. It has been replaced like for like on the left-hand side by a very reliable output in front of goal in the form of Caitlin Ford. 6 goals, 4 assists last season for her. Already 1 assist to her name this campaign.
There's a totally different undercurrent now in the way in which Arsenal are playing, and what's really pleasing to see from an Arsenal point of view is it's beginning to frustrate the visitors, and when that happens, again, your opposition are feeling a little bit rattled. That's when more individual errors come, that's when more spaces open up across the pitch, and for Arsenal it's time to show that ruthless edge and take this Champions League tie and put it beyond, so that that second leg doesn't have too much pressure on it.
The two Australians on this left-hand side looking to link up. Didn't quite come off on that occasion. Arsenal still very much on the front foot. Here's Miedema looking for Mead, unable to play her through. It's worth mentioning that Ajax don't have a game this weekend, so they'll be playing 2 fixtures back-to-back, as Grant has no option but to go for goal. They will have an additional 4 rest days, Ajax, between the 2 legs. So you can imagine that Jonas Ardevel and his coaching staff are probably looking at that, especially with the North London derby and the physicality, the emotions of it, and thinking, well, look, we need to really put our flag in the sand here.
It's about game management this evening as well as time management overall, and with the season only just starting, perhaps there's an argument to be had that the competitive flow of football will serve Arsenal really well. I know for the Women's Championship, the tier underneath this, the season got underway and then the international break came and managers and squads were finding it hard to get into that rhythm. I think there's a real opportunity for Arsenal to use this not only to establish themselves in the tie, but as a launch pad for what is going to be a historic occasion at the weekend with the North London derby. And then that key word, momentum, comes into place, and you really can't put a price on momentum in football. And this second half, the momentum is going all the way of Arsenal's individual players have really stepped up, looking shades different to what they did in the first half, which is really encouraging to see.
I wonder when Ajax will start to tire as well, and Arsenal can continue to bring on fresh legs who have the same amount of quality as their starters. Offside for Miedema. Stenius as well making the forward run.
And those runs are serving really well, just to stretch the Ajax defence, to just bring out players out of position, and the pressure now that's coming from the midfield as well as that front three defending from the front is really good. And Ajax just aren't able to bomb forward with such strong numbers as they were in the first half. And I think Raphael, I mean, she's a real stand-up performer to me as this game is going on. Not only such a threat down the other end, but doing her defensive duties so solidly as well.
Real Rolls Royce of a defender, Raphael. Play the game very much at her own pace. And here's Beth Mead looking to inject some into Arsenal's attack.
Oh, I just wish she'd looked up to her right then. such a good run going on, but that's brilliant because that was not happening in the first half, was it? You were looking at Arsenal players looking a little bit static, searching for options as the clock ticked, whereas now there's options aplenty all around them.
Well, here was the first change for Ajax. It's a player who I've not seen too much of in this second half, making way. Ashley Weirden coming off to be replaced by Tiny Hoekstra. Again, like for like, a left winger who will look to try to cause Noah Marriott a few issues on the opposite flank. Raffaelli to the feet of Niabelti. You'll notice there's significantly less pressing from Ajax as this second half has gone on. Here's Williamson, able to pick a strike. It wasn't too far away from Arsenal's number 6. Teed up by Miedema. Can't blame her. Did open up for her the opportunity.
Arsenal are now just so forcefully camped in that half of the pitch. All the outfield Ajax players are just chasing shadows a little bit, which is fantastic. Like I say, they can't really implement that high press because Arsenal are moving the ball around so much quicker and so much more purposefully than they did in the first half. There was an air of predictability in the way that they were moving the ball about, but now they're switching it up. Both that left-hand side and right-hand side are operating really effectively. A loose pass there, but the recovery, it's all about the recovery as Kim Little puts her under pressure, and then the recycling of play. It just needs to neaten up a little bit, I think, if Arsenal are to drag the tie away from their opposition's control.
Well, we've hardly said Nordam's name in this second half, and she's given away possession. She was such a trusted figure in the midfield during the first half. Look at Caitlin Ford battling away to break past 2 challenges before eventually, via an advantage, winning a free kick in a very dangerous position. Steph Catley left the first one for Beth Mead. I wonder now whether she's saying, well, that this one's got my name written all over it.
A good piece of refereeing as well, actually, because the referee has let the game flow. It's been a physical game, but also letting that advantage play sometimes is really, to the players' benefit, but also being able to blow up, pull it back, and now for Arsenal, a fantastic position, perhaps for a worldie goal to entertain us this evening.
Well, I mentioned Steph Catley's free kick in last season's group stage, right into the top corner. Can she repeat that feat against Ajax? 25 minutes to play at Meadow Park. Arsenal are in the lead. What another goal would do for their confidence and momentum going into next week's second leg. Again, Mead and Catley stood over it. Kim Little doing her best to block Lisa Kopp's sightlines before eventually walking away. It is Beth Mead. Plenty of power. Not quite the accuracy she was looking for.
Even perhaps on some of her more underwhelming nights, and I say that very harshly, Beth Mead is just such a sublime player, and it just takes a moment for her to have an impact and an imprint on the game. And whenever Arsenal do win free kicks in those situations, the number 9 is not going to be too far away.
Well, she's another player who epitomises Arsenal and their tenacious nature under Jonas Eideveld. Have instilled a never say die attitude in this side. Did come back from losing positions late on against both Manchester clubs and Tottenham last season. They know how to do it in the big games. But here they're in the driving seat, having gone 1 goal behind early on.
I was just a little bit worried there. I think it might have been Kim Little in the challenge. Didn't know whether her right foot got a bit stuck underneath her. I don't know if that's where the pause in play has come from now, but hopefully nothing too concerning.
Well, you're right. It is Kim Little receiving treatment going into a North London derby and then a crucial second leg tie in a very short period of time. This is not the sight that you'll want to see.
I wish the refs were mic'd up sometimes. I would love to know what Leah Williamson was saying there, but it is an important point. Players like Kim Little are just so integral to what Arsenal want to do, not only in this competition but in the FA Women's Super League, where I think we've already seen it's going to be one of the most competitive, toughest and unpredictable campaigns we've seen. So for Arsenal, I think there's just such an opportunity to have a really, really impactful season and make this place a fortress.
Spoke about the unpredictability of the Women's Super League. Of course, Arsenal flying high at the top of the league. Same goal difference as Manchester United, who also hit 4 goals in their opening match against Reading. Arsenal, one of 3 teams who scored 4 times in the opener. Villa were the other ones, beating Man City in a 7-goal thriller. But the unpredictable nature of the Women's Super League comes when you're seeing a side like Chelsea, who've won 4 out of the last 5 Women's Super League titles, losing 2-1 to league newcomers Liverpool.
I think what you're seeing with the Super League as well is those comprehensive victories, with the division almost being kind of cut in two, but where it is competitive, the finest of fine margins now is creeping in due to the professionalism and the routine and the setups, which at clubs like Arsenal we sometimes take for granted, but other teams now are catching up with the progress, and it's that constant pursuit of excellence and the standards, and that's why you can't really afford to have a first half like Arsenal had today. The second half performance has been a good means of atoning it, but of course the advantage is still just a slender goal.
Little is back on the pitch and is making challenges in the centre of the park once more, so that's a good sign for the Gunners. Oh, and is that going to be another yellow card, this time for Lisa Dawn, bringing down Blackstenius as she looked to tear away. Yeah, we mentioned it before, such a willing runner, the Swede. Very powerful once she gets going, loves to play on the last defender and try to exploit the gaps in behind like that. Dawn didn't have an answer for it.
And there's a few players in that Ajax defence now on yellow cards, so it's something for Arsenal again to show that ruthless edge to their play and target these players so that they're ruled out of the second leg. It comes as hard work pays off in the way that Arsenal are now stretching the game and pulling those defenders out of position and enforcing those fouls.
Yeah, 3 out of the back 4 now on bookings. The only one that isn't is 17-year-old Issa Cardinal. By the way, I've been very impressed with. I know that you highlighted Victoria Pelova as a player who most clubs will be looking towards signing next summer, maybe even in January, given how well she started this campaign. Well, Miedemar looking to control that bouncing ball in the area. Here's Caitlin Ford. Charge down on the edge of the area. Arsenal fans growing in voice as they see their side attack once more going into the final 20 minutes. There are certainly more goals in this game. Williamson. Into Mead. Takes another heavy challenge. Back on her feet though. Every time she gets knocked down, Beth Mead, she's so quick to get back on her feet and run straight at the opposition again. Sort of nature she honed during her upbringing in the northeast. She's spoken before about how she used to play with the boys who just used to try to kick her out of the game. She'd always come back for more and she'd always get the better of them. Here's Verhoeven trying to carry possession out, trying to drag her team back up the pitch again. They've not seen too much of Arsenal's half in this second period. Now they can slow it down. You'll see at the top of your screen there, Katie McCabe ready to come on. Question is whether she comes on as a forward or as a defender. Very versatile, the Republic of Ireland captain. Good work by Kim Little.
Just wanting Arsenal to sort of regain that composure that they had in the opening of the second half. Every pass was a forward-thinking one. They started the game very much on the front foot, and just been a quieter couple of minutes. Those sort of sloppy, loose passes that were quite frequent in the first, just creeping in a little bit for Arsenal. I think it's time, again, those more experienced players just identify that and look to increase the tempo. You don't want it to kind of lag or slow down, because that will be to the advantage of the visiting team.
Faeli always looking to line up that long switcher play. For short this time though, Miedemar is able to collect on the edge of the area. Now Mead. Again, Ajax, plenty of black shirts there on the edge of their own penalty area. But this is where Arsenal want them. Look at that for a pass from Leah Velti. Well, it might break for Blackstenius. Liza Klopp had to be careful. She knew that the Swede was sniffing around.
Just needed the touch to be slightly better, but almost fortuitously it pays off for Arsenal. It's about taking that gamble on occasions.
Norden helps it on for Van der Most. Now Palova. Infield, Palova looking to strike the return pass. Well defended by Arsenal. And there is a counter-attack on here if they fancy it. Caitlin Ford can burst forward from the left-hand side, wins another free kick. They're really struggling to deal with the acceleration from the Australian ever since she's come onto the pitch.
I don't think those counter-attacking opportunities are a bad thing for Arsenal, hitting on the break with the pace, with Ajax committing a few more bodies forward. They've camped so deep behind the ball. It's proven to be a stubborn, hard defence to break down. So actually that counter-attack could be something that is more productive for Arsenal, as well as these dead ball scenarios as well that have looked promising throughout the 75 minutes so far.
Speaking of counter-attacking options, Katie McCabe is now onto the pitch. I think it was Stina Blackstenius who's gone off, which means, well, Steph Catley's in. I have to say it means that Caitlin Ford can move into the vacated number 9 spot. It's Blackstenius who's left the action. Of course, she did score the equaliser. Will be an opportunity though during this break in play for Steph Catley to receive some treatment. Mixing up that forward line, they can keep opposing defenders guessing. I mean, if you're able to find a system that can crowbar in Stenius, Ford, Mead, Miedemar, Katie McCabe, Lena Hurtig now. So many attacking options for Arsenal.
It's so exciting. I mean, we said it at the very, very start, didn't we, when we were looking at the team for this evening. The strength and depth that's on that Arsenal bench is frightening, and the way that teams set up now, and particularly in this competition, if Arsenal are to progress and go better than they have done in recent years. They went through such a great spell, didn't they, of qualifying and making it to the quarter-final stages, and between, I think it was 2010 and 2013, they were getting to the semi-finals, and that's what Arsenal want to be doing season in and season out, and that ability to rotate your squad, that ability switch your personnel up, or when a game is on a bit of a knife edge like it is at half-time, be able to make changes that have a positive impact. And I really think now for Arsenal in this last sort of 15 minutes or so, it is about showing their intent for this competition as a whole and identifying the gaps or the weaknesses perhaps that Ajax have. And one thing for me is that back four, 3 of them are on yellow cards, so really try and run the channels, really try and get in those individual battles and ultimately make the right decisions in and around the 16-yard box.
Sinsberger. Raffaelli. Just the one Ajax player in the Arsenal half. Although that's sure to change now if they can manufacture this into a counter-attack. Palova trying to turn away from 3 Arsenal players, losing out possession, and now Kim Little will try to do her usual thing of running a few rings around them. She has got the extra level of physicality to back her up in those situations where it doesn't quite work. McCabe knocks one into the channel. Again, Cardinal's there to sweep up before Kopp hacks it out of play.
It's not pretty, but that is working effectively for Arsenal. Just kind of taking that gamble, putting the defence, putting the goalkeeper under pressure. It's about making that pressure something relentless, and then there will open up an opportunity, and it's about which Arsenal player is going to have that clinical shot or that moment of composure in front of goal.
The Ajax players have certainly spent larger portions of this second half running back towards their own goal than they were in the first. Speaks volumes of how much Arsenal have been on the front foot. Just under 15 minutes left to play. Just look at Katie McCabe, who's peeled off to the right-hand side. Covering in field now. Eventually works her way out to the left, but again, one back by Cardinal from Miedemar. Grant. Don't know if you can make that out on your streams back at home. Here's Steph Catley and Katie McCabe on this near left-hand side. So vocal, talking each other through the game.
And that's important as well, because Ajax have somewhat simmered the tempo. It's pressed a little bit, much to their advantage, and it is, you know, you can't help but feel that Arsenal can again turn up the gears, take it up a notch, and it's their home tie, so it is important that they make it as uncomfortable a 10 final minutes as possible, because if Ajax go back to Amsterdam with this 1-goal disadvantage, they might think they're left with a chance.
Well, it's a great ball forward. Oh, that's a heavy collision. Caitlin Ford bearing the brunt of it. It was a raking through ball from this left-hand side. She had every right to go for it. Liza Kopp didn't get anywhere near the ball. I think the offside flag had gone up.
She's been so committed, though, hasn't she, to that attacking move, and that kind of commitment sees you upended in those situations. Hopefully it's not too serious and a little bit of treatment and she'll be able to come up, because again, I think if you're looking at individuals that will help Arsenal get that third, she is that spark, she is that individual. Miedemar's had a relatively quiet evening by her standards. I think Ajax have done a really good job in keeping her quiet. That physical, really, really tight player mark has proven to be frustrating for her.
There she is, as mentioned in the build-up to today's game, a 2-time Golden Boot winner in this competition with 2 different sides. Bayern Munich first of all, 2016-17, and then Arsenal more recently. Hasn't quite worked out for her in front of goal this evening, but such is Arsenal's depth of attacking talent. Goals have come from elsewhere on the pitch. This is the one that's given them the lead. Kim Little from the spot, keeping her cool, giving her side the advantage. But will 1 goal be enough? Just under 10 minutes to play. The side of out. Certainly wouldn't help for his side to, certainly wouldn't hurt, I should say, for his side to grab another. It'll make that return trip next week a lot more comfortable.
I think as well, from an Arsenal point of view, getting a goal in open play, you know, the penalty spot and then the seconds from the corner has been the means of breaking down this Ajax side. There hasn't been too much in the way of open play, and I do think in part that has just been from decision making from Arsenal's point of view, as well as some really good competent defending from the visitors. There's again the offside flag there, that's down to good shape, that's down to good organisation from a really young team as well, so it's credit to them. I've been impressed with the performance from them tonight.
Yeah, 22 out of 27 players in Ajax's senior squad are 25 years old or younger. Obviously Sherida Spitzer's the exception to that rule. She's been put in there as an example to others. And here she is on the ball now. To the left-hand side. Chance for Hoekstra to finally showcase what she's made of. In towards the near post, not cleared by Arsenal. And then it's helped home. And it's Leutzer again. The Ajax number 7. Doubles her side score, doubles her own personal tally for the evening. And it's a real poacher's goal to level the scores on the evening. And really against the run of play in the second half.
Yeah, real sucker punch for Arsenal there. A bit like the opening goal. There were so many stages to that were preventable. You've got to credit Ajax for the skill and the trickery, but to even be able to get the cross in and for it to come in at such a slow pace and not be cleared, Arsenal will be disappointed with that.
Well, we've been talking in the last half an hour, really, haven't we, Charlotte, about how Arsenal need to make the most of being on top, assert their dominance. What we forgot about was just how clinical Ajax can be in those situations.
Yeah, we kept using the word, didn't we, about finding a ruthless edge, Arsenal. It's all very well turning it up a notch and enjoying more possession, but if you're not going to convert the chances, or if you're not going to stretch your opponent and get the goals to merit it, again, certainly in open play, then you're always leaving yourself open to be punished. And Arsenal haven't had to do a lot in the way of defending, but Ajax, in and around that final third, they've known where to put the ball, and as you say, exactly that poacher's instinct, which is perhaps from an Arsenal point of view been lacking down the other end.
In comes another cross, confidently claimed by Zinsberger. She hasn't had to do too much tonight, but when she has been called upon, she has been very, very commanding and consistent.
We always love some late drama, though. Maybe Arsenal are just saving it for us for the final minutes. Because it is probably one of those displays that, as a manager, you're scratching your head a little bit. When the game has swayed and the momentum has shifted to your team, you're expecting them to take that by the scruff of the neck. It's
a great through ball by Leah Velti to pick out Steph Catley. Nobody in there gambling on the delivery. It's interesting that you mentioned late drama. Both of the previous 2 Champions League qualifiers that Ajax have played, they have struck in injury time. The last one being an injury time winner to knock out 4-time champions Frankfurt. Hoping not for no three-peat against Arsenal this evening. Better build-up play by the Gunners until Noel Maritz sells Kim Little rather short. And here comes the breakaway.
And to me, Max, that underpins what's gone slightly wrong for Arsenal. They've gotten into good positions, but the decision making and the more forward thinking cross or pass just hasn't happened, and it's then made the pace a little bit more pedestrian, which has served Ajax well, because Ajax have come here happy to work, happy to graft, and I think sometimes it has just been that decision making that has cost Arsenal. You're looking at Beth Mead now, go 1v1, get into that box. You've already won 1 penalty this evening, go again, but then they're able to shift the pressure, shift the ball up the pitch, and it's worked into their favour. Ajax have got something to cling on to, and that would have been the objective before kick-off. Just make sure that you leave Meadow Park with something to play for, and you're going to see now, which they're entitled to do, running down the clock.
bit of gamesmanship from the visitors. Soraya Verhoeven hobbling away. I'm sure she'll be fine to continue. Right down the other end. A bit more treatment required. To the final stages of this first leg. Suzanne Bakker, who is just applauding to the right of your screen. We'll be delighted with the shift that her team have put in. It's her first experience in the Champions League this season. They've gone for a speculative effort. Reuter, after scoring twice already, albeit from a combined distance of about 4 yards. I'm not sure that one was ever going to challenge Manu Zinsberger. Perhaps that's a little hint of how much the Dutch side have given in terms of energy. Catley challenging with Van der Most.
I was going to say, I thought that was a foul on McCabe.
Well, an opportunity to deliver.
And I do think this is an opportunity again to just get the ball into the box. Don't elect for the short pass. Get bodies in, put that defence under pressure. We've seen a few spilled balls from the goalkeeper. We've seen a few huffed clearances. Perhaps now it's Arsenal's turn to pounce on a defensive mistake.
Again, Mead delivers. McCabe's through on goal. Hits the back of the net, but the flag's gone up. It won't count. Offside against Katie McCabe. Oh, that would have been tight. No VAR, of course, until the group stages.
What a beautiful turn that was. I wonder why that is, but if the VAR means are in place, why they do leave it so...
It's the stadiums.
Ah.
So should Arsenal qualify for the next stage of this competition, they will be playing it at the men's Emirates Stadium. It's a good ball into the channel. Mead helps it across again. Alyssa Cardinal has not put a single foot wrong in this match. It's a difficult ball for her to deal with as well. On her weaker left side, bouncing, it manages to clear the half volley. Into the final 60 seconds. Arsenal on the attack. Can they get a winner on the night?
First time balls, first time crosses. Just looks so much more threatening for Arsenal.
In it comes again. Cardinals there once more. Now Raffaelli to the feet of Miedema. It's ever a time for some magic from her. This is it. Helps across for Maritz. Ford was there. Putting Cardinal under pressure. Cop clears. Now it's Ajax's turn to come forward. Final 30 seconds. Booted clear by Steph Catley. Not taking any risks under pressure there. Forward again from Van der Most. Flicked on, but Zinsberger's going to get there. You can sense a bit of unrest in the stands from the home fans. 6 minutes will be added on.
Arguably, you'd think perhaps Ajax might look after the ball, recycle possession, slow the tempo, but they're going for it as well. So it has just been such a fascinating Champions League first round tie between two teams that really it's been hard to call the differences between two. That clinical edge of Ajax against a more dominant second half display, but I think at the moment the scoreline is probably a fair reflection. Arsenal just have been wasteful by their own means.
Well, Ajax do have one way of playing, and they play that philosophy very well. Although, as you alluded to just then, Charlotte, sometimes it does mean But when the option is on to run down the clock, they still go out and attack. They will bring on a fresh pair of legs. And it's Ashley Backer, the player who scored that dramatic injury time winner to book their place in this stage. Coming on the right wing for Chastity Grant.
I do love how many times you can check your socks and just rearrange your top when you're coming off as a substitute.
Well, Mead's delivery goes all the way through. Ashley Becker makes her way across to this side of the pitch very slowly. Same name as the coach, no relation.
The Arsenal supporters really trying to play their part as well to rally their team. There's still plenty of time for one more twist in this tie, and you can still see, you know, the energy that that front three has for Arsenal, the pace as well, as Beth Mead tracking back, and it's now again that decision making, that composure on the ball. I think Raphael has been superb for Arsenal. I'd love to see her on the score sheet. I think her display has merited it, but even if she could just come up with an assist right now, that would do.
It's a great switch of play from her, something we're growing accustomed to seeing since she made the move to North London. And now every single outfield player in an Arsenal shirt is camped out inside this Ajax half. It's going to be attack against defence, you imagine, as Kim Little makes her way into the box. Another excellent challenge in there. Last-ditch defending from Lisa Dawn. Thought Kim Little was going to fashion an opportunity. What about that for a tackle?
Brilliant defending. That is exactly what you need from your defence in the dying phases, the bravery, body positioning, and ultimately the commitment to just absolutely throw yourself and deny a player like Kim Little a sniff on target.
Well, Steph Catley will deliver this one. In swinging from that far side of the pitch. Plenty of players in there in Arsenal shirts. Held on towards the far post. Raffaelli, it was. A player who's been so dominant from set pieces over the course of the evening. Came to her weaker right foot. She was unable to hit the target.
Oh, that was the headline I was so desperate for, but not the foot that I wanted it to land on.
So it was slightly ambitious, you asking for a centre-back to be the match winner, but she certainly had the opportunity there. Final 2 minutes now, after 6 added on. Is there enough time for Arsenal to get this one into the Ajax box once more? Miedema in hot pursuit of Van der Most on this near side.
Van der Most has been great this evening as well.
Another experienced player, Van der Most.
Just really immaculate, clean, tidy defending against a player of the quality of Miedema. They've really got about their business. I know they've conceded the 2 goals, but they haven't been in open play. Or perhaps we'll get one last opportunity.
Well, it was Caitlin Ford who somehow brought down that long ball. Again, though, joined by Cardinal, he's putting the pressure on. And then hooks it clear again. What a game she's had, before eventually going down with some sort of cramp. 60 seconds on the clock. I think Caitlin Ford's asking the question, look, if she is going to be treated on the pitch, can we add that time on as well? Arsenal do have a throw-in.
I think you'd be cramping up if you were the Ajax defence, but after this...
Be cramping up if I was Cardinal, that's for sure. She's been everywhere. There have been times as well where she's surged forward on the wings.
The way they've defended that 6-yard box has been really impressive.
Catley immediately closed down by Nordam.
Oh dear.
You see there, McCabe trying to urge Ajax to get this one back into play quickly, but they're happy to settle for the 2-2 draw and then decide this one on home turf next week. Still though, Arsenal continue to press. Miedema turning away on the edge of the area, crowded out once more by Ajax players. Williamson driving it forward with a bit more impetus. Ajax first at all of the second balls at the moment. Getting the benefit of the doubt as well through Ashley Bakker. Sharida Spitzer using her experience here just to run the clock down before it is pumped into the channel. One for Williamson to chase. Defends it very competently. Well, Arsenal dominated at times this evening. They turned the tie on its head after going an early goal behind. They had the opportunities to put the game out of